Hey guys, it's Joe. I hope everyone's doing great out there. Coming at you tonight with a horror movie review. And tonight we are going to be reviewing The Forest. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have either seen this or heard of it by now. It is a pretty popular horror movie. It got pretty heavy advertising on television, and it stars Natalie Dormer, who played Marjorie Tyrell on Game of Thrones. So, it's a pretty well-known horror movie. It's been out for, I think, a couple months now. It was one of the January releases. Now, January releases for horror movies usually are a little scary. That's usually the dumping ground for movies, especially horror. But let's just get into it, guys. This movie, when I first saw the trailer, initial reaction, wasn't too excited about it. The trailer seemed pretty basic, pretty, boring, basic horror. So going into it, I had pretty low expectations, and just from what I had heard from the horror community about this movie. Now, this movie is a directorial debut from Jason Zeta, is the director's name. And overall, I think directing-wise, he did pretty good with this, and I think with a better script, this guy could be a really good horror director. There was just too many problems with this movie, especially in the script and the writing, I think. But overall, directorially, I think it was done pretty well, so I can't really fault the director with this one. But this movie has a pretty interesting premise, guys. Let's go over the plot real quick. It's basically about these sisters. They're twin sisters, both played by Natalie Dormer, and basically one of them goes missing in the forest, and the other sister basically hires a small team to go into the forest, which this forest basically is synonymous and very famous for suicides. And that is actually a true story. It is based on the Okigahara forest in Japan, which for some reason or the other has a high rate of suicides. People go into this forest and for some reason commit suicide, which is a very interesting plot point. And to use this true story of this suicide forest and put it into a horror movie, an absolutely fantastic idea. Honestly, though, just did not execute well on that. I will say, though, there were some decent parts in this movie. There was some decent storytelling at times, and some really well acted parts. And this movie was actually, for the first 45 minutes to an hour, I was kind of into it. I wasn't loving it, but I wasn't not liking it either. I was kind of like, this is not bad so far, and I was kind of surprised by how much I was kind of enjoying it. But the bottom, guys, just completely falls out in the end of this movie. I did not like the ending at all. The very ending is, your basic cheap jump scare, which is an insult to every real horror fan out there, in my opinion. The cheap jump scare at the end of a movie makes me cringe every single time. It is a trope in horror that absolutely needs to go away. It is fine for your teenagery horror films and whatnot, but this was not one of those movies. It was a movie that could have been a lot smarter, and a movie that could have been really well done if it had better writing and a better script. But unfortunately, guys, it just was not that good of a horror movie. But it also wasn't that terrible of a horror movie either. But just not one that I can recommend. And overall, I'm going to give The Forest, guys, a 5 out of 10. Mediocre, but not as terrible as I thought it was going to be, if that's any consolation to anyone. But that is it, guys. So let me know what your thoughts were on The Forest. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably seen it by now. And so let's discuss it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, especially people who might have enjoyed it a little more than I did. Yeah, so that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So everyone have a great night, and we'll see you all real soon.